What's going on, guys? It's Ben. Hey, thanks so much for checking out the channel again, and I'm going to hop right into it because there's no time to waste. It's midweek, we're ready to make some money, and I think this video is going to be lit. So this is all about how to make $10,000 a week just finding labor for companies off of Craigslist. Yes, you heard me correct. Just finding labor and candidates for clients off of Craigslist alone, $10,000 a week. So this is something very, very simple. This is exactly what I did at the beginning of my recruiting career when I set up my agency and I used Craigslist and Indeed and different little tools like that before I got more advanced and did things like that. But obviously you must first have a client, and so we're going to do this for the purposes of this video, knowing that we have a client in place. So we've done a bunch of videos about finding clients, whether it be through cold email or cold calling or different various methods. Let's assume that we have a client. Let's say it's a delivery service where they need drivers or forklift drivers or warehouse people. For this instance, let's just say it's a warehouse because they normally need a high volume of candidates. So at a rate of 10%, which is a general rate that I would go off of for a beginning recruiter, 10% off of maybe $18 an hour would usually pay you approximately anywhere from $3,000 plus after taxes are taken out and stuff like that. So you would need to make probably 3 to 4 placements to make $10,000 on that rate. So let's say that the warehouse needed about 4 candidates placed, which would approximately put you at $12,000 over hitting that $10,000 target, which can easily be obtained in 1 week because these guys are usually in pretty high demand and they're needed fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into my computer. I'm going to show you exactly how this would go, and I'm going to explain pretty much how you make 10 grand in a week on Craigslist finding labor. All right, let's go. All right, guys, so we're right inside my computer here, and we are going off of the premise that we have a client that wants anywhere from 3 to 4 warehouse drivers this week, and they want to hire them fast, they want to hire them quick, and we want to get that going for them right away. And so one of the easiest ways that I've ever made money staffing is finding quick labor off of Craigslist. Contrary to popular belief, Craigslist is not dead by any means at all. Craigslist is alive and very well, and I use it frequently for finding labor. And so for this video specifically, I'm talking about how to make $10,000 in a week finding candidates off Craigslist for positions. So we're going off the premise that we have a warehouse client that's looking for labor. So I'm going to go ahead and create a post. I'm going to create it in Seattle. That's where the client is. We're going to go ahead and hit job offered. This is the type of post we're putting. Now, category. You need to select a category that's extremely relevant to what you're looking for. There's all sorts of categories here, right? So we can go from accounting to government to real estate and all sorts of things. But what we want is transportation, okay? And I don't know about where you live, but where I live, the ads cost $45 every single category you choose. Some cities or states have different ad costs. I think in New York, they're a lot cheaper or more expensive, I forget. But I guess I picked 2. Okay, so let me uncheck accounting. So we're just choosing transportation. It's $45. I'm going to continue here. So I do this a lot, so this is going to pre-populate a little bit, but I'm going to put in a title. And you want to make this real spiffy, right? Because you want to have this stand out. So a lot of things people do as mistakes is they don't make a title that stands out. So you want to definitely use things like all caps. You want to include the entire title, warehouse driver with forklift experience, because I know that's what these guys are going to ask for. I'm kind of using a theoretical client, but I know what this client would want. I put these asterisks at the beginning because I know that this will stand out on Craigslist. The word hiring also will stand out big time on a Craigslist ad. And then also putting little things on the end like full-time/benefits is huge for job seekers because they're going to be just really excited to see that. A lot of companies don't offer benefits and things like that. I'm going to throw a random zip code in here. And I wrote up a job post prior to setting this up, and so I'm actually going to throw that in here, and I'm going to go over it. So this is a typical job post for something like this, like that I'd be hiring for. So position, warehouse driver. This is what they're going to do. They're going to drive box trucks, flatbed trucks, and I'm going to explain here that we're not talking about CDL trucks, but we're talking about like 25, 26 foot trucks, little flatbed trucks, like a U-Haul type thing. Forklift experience preferred. The shift time, it's very important for employees to see this stuff immediately. You want to go overkill, absolute overkill with your job ad. You want to explain everything, because the less questions, the easier the process goes, the faster everything works. People don't have to call you and say, hey, when's the shift? And then, you have to knock them off the list, or hey, is there benefits or whatever, less questions for you. You put the pay range in there, so you put exactly what they're going to be paying. You want to describe to these people exactly how to go about this. So email the posting with your resume to get an interview. So a lot of times on Craigslist, you'll get phone calls, right? There's an option down here where you can put your phone number in, and people will just call you and they'll just say, hey, you guys still hiring? When can I come in? Well, it doesn't really work like that, because your client doesn't want people just walking in and saying, hey, can I start? No, we don't want that. So you explain the shift, you explain where your warehouse is located, you put in the pay, you explain how to apply, you add in more details again, full-time hours, full health benefits, direct hire, 401k, retirement. Then some of the requirements. So these are specific requirements that a lot of clients that I work with have. You have to have a clean background, driving and otherwise, and you absolutely must be able to pass a UA drug test, considering you're going to be driving vehicles like forklifts and trucks themselves. And then there's going to be duties, and this is stuff that comes directly from the actual warehouse itself. Usually it's something along these lines: unloading, loading, lifting things, properly maintaining stock, checking stock. I'm not going to go through all the duties on the job and all that, but I'm going to go down here. We have a tab where we could actually choose full-time, part-time, blah, blah, blah. It's usually always full-time. And then it asks you to explain the compensation once again. So I'm going to type this in. This is a frequent range that I use, that the employer has obviously given me this range. I'm not making it up. And your email. Benjamin Nader, right? So people can contact me by phone, by text. I'm just going to put a phone number in there, and then I'm going to hit continue. What's wrong now? Okay. Put a random number in there. It's not my number. Don't call that number. Let's go ahead and continue. Okay, so this map is basically just showing me precisely where this location is, just so I can verify that this is the right area the warehouse is located in. So, yep, that's where it's at. I'm going to continue. Now we get to add an image. So when you post a job on Craigslist, it's super, super important that your ad sticks out, okay? So, for instance, I'm going to give you a quick little example on this. If we go to Craigslist right now and we look for jobs and we look for warehouse driver or something like that. Okay, look at the blank spots versus the photographed ads. Which ones are you going to click on? There's almost no question that these almost blend into the background. So these ads that have no picture on them are completely irrelevant. Associate warehouse manager, that might be a really good job, but honestly, why didn't you put a picture? So this is gonna fade right out. Versus backup delivery warehouse associate, and they have a picture of their store right there. So it's super important to make sure that your ad sticks out a ton. So we're obviously just going to grab a really nice hiring now sign. We're going to throw that on there. and then that's essentially going to be it. So we have our title, sticks out, has some asterisks on it, hiring warehouse driver, forklift operator, full-time benefits, hiring now, bright, bold, neon, and then all the description here. The map's going to sit there and show them exactly where it's at. And then they have all the information they need to call me, to connect with me, to email me, blah, blah, blah. And then I would hit publish. And when you hit publish, it's going to send you an email. And when you receive that email, it's basically going to be the way that you pay for the ad. So you're going to enter a credit card or something like that, and you would pay for your $45 ad. Now, a lot of the times people don't understand that to make money, you need to spend money. So to make your recruiting really, really work, you actually need to put ads up. You need to advertise that you're hiring for a job. So you can't, like, for general labor especially, you cannot just sit back and expect people to be found on LinkedIn or you can't do simple things like that. Like, you need to use Craigslist, you need to use Indeed, but for the purposes of this video specifically, I'm just trying to explain how you can make $10,000 in a week utilizing a Craigslist ad like this that you would publish, and then you would take phone calls on, and then you would get all the candidates lined up, and you would set them all up, phone screen them. Once they're phone screened, then you would send them on into the clients. The client would then interview them all, and then they would pick 3 of them or so and say, we're going to hire these 3 guys. Here you go. Those guys would start, and you would invoice them all for $3,000 a piece, and there you go. You're basically at your $10,000 for the week. All right, I'm going to hop back out on camera right now. This is the basics of the Craigslist ad creation. Just remember, scared money doesn't make money. So I would be making maybe 1 or 2 of these ads, actually, probably spending about $90. And again, I've done the math on this before with you guys, but if you put it in perspective, I could probably make 6 of these ads just for good measure and still come out 500% on top of my investment, because the cost of the ads is so much lower than what I'm actually going to make. So I'll pop back out on camera and we'll talk a little bit further about this. All right, guys, so we're back. I just placed my Craigslist ad. I just put it out there. It's on the interwebs, and it is now being seen by thousands and thousands of people that are surfing Craigslist looking for a job right now, specifically in the field that I posted in. And this is how we're going to make our $10,000 this week. The client wants at least 3 to 4 of these candidates, and I have put out at minimum 1 of these ads for $45 on Craigslist, and now I'm going to be getting responses. So the second wave of this process is that you now, as a recruiter, need to process all of these people, the candidates that come through. So the way that you go about doing that is you're going to get phone calls, you may get some text messages, you're definitely going to get emails, because that's the most traditional way people respond to Craigslist ads. And every single time, you always want to make sure that you get a resume from someone. So you'll get a resume, you'll review the resume, you'll make sure that things fall in line with what they need, and then you want to do a phone screen. So I would call that person up right away. As soon as they talk to you in any digital communication, I would instantly communicate back with them, because the thing you need to understand about Craigslist, Indeed, pretty much any job, quick general labor job search space, is that these people are applying for jobs nonstop. So someone who applied for this delivery driver position, they're applying for probably 5 of those in one shot. They're not going on Craigslist just applying for one job and hitting click. They're probably applying for like 3 to 4 to 5 of them, literally. So you need to be the first to get in touch with them. So you need to call them right away. And this is where the effort part comes in, right? You're not making $10,000 in a week just for sitting around doing nothing. You're going to call them back, contact them, talk to them about the requirements of the job, make sure that they align. Can you pass the UA? Do you have a criminal background check? Are you able to drive this? Do you have forklift experience? Blah, blah, blah. And make sure that you get solid answers out of them so that you're not sending over bunk candidates that are just going to get bypassed by your client, and your client's going to think you look stupid. So once you get those perfect candidates, you're going to arrange a schedule. This is how I do things. I've had a preset time set up with my client. They want to interview everyone on Thursday between 8 a.m. and 1:30. And so what I do is I actually create an actual schedule, and I fill in names specifically and say, okay, this guy's good for 8:30, this guy's good for 9:30, this guy's good for 10:30, and so on and so forth. And once I have that schedule set, done, finished, I will send over the client the actual schedule of who's coming in when, and then I will also include all of their resumes in a row aligned with their names, so they know exactly who they're talking to, and they can review their resume at the same time as reviewing the candidate. Then a day later, maybe hopefully hours later, they'll tell me exactly who they want to hire. And once they tell me who they want to hire, my job's almost done. I usually either have to call them and let them know that they're hired, and then the company usually has some policies and procedures they want to go through, like having them officially apply online to the job, getting some more information from them, having them fill out some forms, setting up a start date, and the employer or the client will probably have me go through a lot of that stuff with the candidate, because that's also part of my job. So it might stretch out, if today's Wednesday, that stuff might stretch out until Friday. If we did these interviews like tomorrow morning, that might stretch out until like Friday, and they would complete all that paperwork, and maybe they'll start Monday, maybe they'll be starting, later on next week, who knows, whenever their start date is. But bottom line is, at the end of the day, I get to invoice for 3 to 4 candidates that are all worth about $300 to $3,500, depending on the percentage I'm charging the client, which is usually going to be 10 to 12% of their annual income. And at $18 an hour, that's a $3,400 fee. So let's just call it $3,400 a piece, and do the math on that on 3 to 4 candidates. So you just made about 10 grand in a week. Ultimately, you've actually made it in about 2.5 days, but in a week's time period in total, with all of the actions that need to happen, you've made 10 grand. So that's a really simple way for a beginner recruiter, once you have a client, to just go at it and use Craigslist to make 10 grand in a week. Obviously, things for myself have gotten a lot more sophisticated than that. The clients that I work with, require a little bit more, higher caliber candidates. I still work with a lot of clients that use just, bare bones, like general labor guys or girls that, surf on Craigslist for jobs like these. Some more skilled specific jobs, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm doing other things. But this is a really easy way for anybody that's starting a recruiting agency to make 10K in 1 week's time. And so that's pretty much it, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, definitely hit the subscription button down below. If you liked this video or any of my videos you've ever seen at all, smash the like button for sure. And I will catch you guys on Thursday tomorrow. I hope you're having a great day so far, and go crush it.